Okay, it looks like we're ready to go. Good evening and welcome everyone. Parents, class of 2034, it's kind of hard to say out loud. I am Cindy Wilson, the principal of Ocean Avenue School, and I am joined by one of my colleagues, Tara Responti, principal of Bayview School. And we have other panelists that we will introduce to you as we move along our slide presentation. Thank you for joining us tonight. If this is your first child entering kindergarten or your last child entering kindergarten or somewhere in between, and it's an exciting time for you. And also, I'm sure there's a lot of questions that you have. So hopefully this evening, by the end of this evening, you'll have somewhat of an overview of what the registration process is like, and some things you may need to expect moving forward. So thank you for joining us. We will have a Q&A at the end of this presentation, so hold your questions. And I wish we could see you in person and meet you all in person, but we will one day soon. So with that being said, Mr. Rotolo, you can flip to the next slide.
Hello, everyone. As Cindy Wilson introduced me, I'm Tara Responti. I am the principal at Bayview Elementary School. And I am going to start off just by introducing our elementary schools. We have 11 and the principals of the buildings. We are going to just go through their names so you're familiar with it. Again, we're going to do this in alphabetical order. I'm Ms. Responti, principal at Bayview. And we have Mr. Milando, who is the principal at Fairview, Mr. Paulson at Harmony, Mr. Smith, Leonardo, Mr. Imbimbo at Lincroft. We have Mrs. McCormick at Middletown Village, Mr. Cullen at Navesink, Mr. Ferry at New Monmouth, Mr. Leone, Nutswamp, and as you know, Ms. Wilson, who just introduced us at Ocean, and Mr. Whitman at River Plaza. I know we have other members from the district that have joined us on the other side. We can't see them, or we would introduce them as well. But what I'd like to do right now is just go over our panelists and what we will be talking about. So Susan Calabro will be talking to us about the online registration process and parent portal and report cards. Jessica Ritz should be with us.
She is.
Oh, she is. Okay, she's probably scrolled down. Sorry, I didn't go that far. Jessica Ritz will be there for the school lunch program. And then we have Kara Nolan and Catherine Callahan. They are our nurses that will be talking to us about school health services. And the Director of Special Services is Michelle Tiedemann, who will be talking to us about student services. And as I scroll down, I do see you, Jessica. I do apologize. All right, Cindy.
So there's some general school information. Our school hours are from 8:55 to 3:05. Our drop-off begins at 8:40, at which the first bell rings, and students may enter the building at that time. And dismissal begins at 3:05. So our early dismissal times is 1:25. Those days are designated in the school calendar, which you will be far in advance. We'll have notification of, and school lunches are served on those early dismissal days. We do have the YMCA, which provides before and after school care. It begins at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they are there until 6 p.m. Additional information for the Y can be found on our district website. We hold yearly parent-teacher conferences, usually in December, but homeschooling communication is key to your child's success. So at any time, please reach out to your child's teacher if you have any concerns or questions. So teachers are always available and willing to speak to parents. School lunches are served every day. There's hot and cold choices, kind of like a buffet style. Students are issued a lunch ID, which they will have from the time they are in pre-K or kindergarten through 12th grade. And you can prepay accounts through a online payment provider, or you can send checks into the building. At this time, I would like to introduce Sue Calabro, because she is our student information systems and enrollment manager. That's so fancy, Sue. And she's going to talk to you about the whole registration process, how to get started, where to find information. So you're up, Sue.
evening, everybody. My name is Susan Calabro, as Mrs. Wilson said, and I'm in charge of all of the enrollment, the registration, and student information for the district. I'd like to just give you a quick overview tonight about the registration process. As I'm sure you're aware, we only do online registration now in the district. The online registration window will open on January 11th and close on February 28th. We strongly encourage you to register early, as we do max our class sizes, and we want to have everybody get to the location that they want to get to. So please get ready and have all your paperwork. If you go to our district website at www.middletownkk12.org, we have a registration tab that you can follow that gives you all of the information that you'll need to set up your account. Mr. Vitolo, can you flip to the next slide, please? Thank you. Like I said, it will open on January 11th. The window will be open. We do have a central registrar who handles all of our processing once you submit your documentation and your registration. If everything is in line, you will receive a confirmation that your registration has processed. If we do not have the correct documentation, the registrar will be reaching out to you either by phone or by email. The registration documentation is also listed on the website. It's also on this slide that you can view. And those are required during the registration process. At the end of the registration, there is a secure upload where you can upload your documents directly to us. There is no more in-person registration at this time. Next slide. Once you go onto the website, you will click on the registration link and it will bring you to this page. If you have an existing account where you registered a child previously, this will be our 4th year doing registration. So if you did register before, you can use the same login in that you used before. If you forgot it, just click on the forgot password link and it'll set it all up for you. Next slide. At the end of the registration, during the secure document upload, where you register and you upload your residency documentations that are part of the requirement, there is an additional option to upload any supplemental documents that you may want to upload for our information, whether it's custodial and parent documentation, IEP 504 documentation for our student services department, English language learner documentation, or any medical information that you feel may be of help to our nurses. You can just upload that directly to the portal. Next slide, Chris. Proof of residency for homeowners is listed here. The primary one is on the left-hand side. The secondary requires 3 of those options. Next slide, Chris. Renters, this is also what documentation you will be required. Like I said, you can refer to this on this presentation. It will be on the registration website, as well as there are links on the registration website that will take you to all of these required documentations. Next. If you do have other living arrangements and you are living with a family member or the child is living with a guardian in the district, you can contact our registrar directly and she will make a special appointment for you to come in and discuss everything. Next. This is our bus link, which you can also get off of the district website. Once you click on there, you're going to need your student's ID to find out your bus information. On the next slide, I believe it is, I will show you the parent portal. The parent portal is a very, very important tool in following your child through school. It has all the information you need in there, and also your student ID, which is also required for the lunch program. Next slide. This is a copy of the parent portal as it is. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see all of these icons. They contain a lot of important information. You'll see the school bulletin is on here for every single school. The schools can upload all of their bulletins daily to that. There's important documents that we upload directly that we want the parents to see. This is where you'll get your student's report card, where you'll see grades, attendance. You'll see your bus on here, The lunch is now available on here. You can directly pay your lunch account on here. You can go through and look at account preferences and set up notifications that the parent can receive, whether you want to receive an email, a phone call, etc. You can also go on and select how you would like to receive the school notifications that come out through our messenger service. You can get it by text, by email, by phone call. You can also designate on here who your emergency contacts are and your contact information. So really, this is a self-service portal which takes care of every type of information that your student would require to get the data to the school. This is a live portal. You can go on there right now and change a contact information for an emergency contact, like I said, and it will update into our database immediately, and the schools will be notified. Next slide, Chris. All right, just as a last thing on the parent portal, that was a live version that I showed you. There is also an app that you can download for Apple and Android. And the only difference is the app doesn't have as many features as the actual portal does. If you have any questions regarding registration, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email the registrar. Her email is right on the website, or feel free to email me. My name is on the district admin list, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through the registration process.
Thank you, Sue. So next up, we would like to share with you a little brief synopsis of the day in the life of a kindergartner. Chris, do you mind just hovering over welcome to? And there'll be a little video there. So this is what you'll see our kinders doing at tables, a lot of interactive learning going on. A lot of movement. Lots of investigating and exploring. Here's what we were talking about school lunch. Lots of interactive learning centers. Play is important to us.
And then there's always YouTube.
All right, Chris, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so here is what a sample kindergarten schedule would look like. Every day the students have integrated centers. Kinders are immersed in writing, reading, science, and social studies. Interventions is given to our kindergarten students as needed, and we do small group instruction on a daily basis. Students will also take part in 40-minute specials. We have health, PE, Spanish, art, music, and digital learning. Okay, our next slide.
So I'm an early childhood person, and people always say to me, Cindy, what does my child need to know to be ready for kindergarten? And, you know, it really is a time that has to be nurtured and it has to be supported and it needs guidance. But it's also a time where there's some natural things that you can do at home every day that supports them getting ready for kindergarten. There's no magic pill, there's no magic potion. It really takes some time and nurturing the right skills. So really reading is the ultimate best thing you can do for your child. Einstein once said, if you want a brilliant child, read fairy tales. If you want a more brilliant child, read more fairy tales. So you really need to make reading fun and make a habit of it and read every day to them. Recognize math in the real world. You know, you're setting the table, you're putting a fork to each plate, it's one-to-one correspondence. They're counting, they're noticing patterns and shapes and sizes. And I really think today we need to teach our kids our phone numbers. That's a skill that has long gone by the wayside because we're so used to having access of a phone number at our fingertips. But more so than others, our littles need to know the phone number, because a lot of times a child will come into my office and I'll say, I need to call my mom. And I'll say, do you know your number? And they don't. That's really something important. And that may come on a little bit later as they can memorize a sequence of 7 digits or more, but it's important. I can't stress enough the importance of self-help and independent skills. And we take this for granted, but it's coats on and off, being responsible for my own belongings, hand washing, toileting, opening my snacks, opening my juice boxes so they don't spill all over, putting a cap back on a water bottle so I don't put it in my lunchbox open, because that happens all of the time. So I really think there are simple things that are so important and critical to what they need to be in order to be successful in the K room. A supportive schedule with a consistent daily routine is always helpful. You know, enjoy time together, eat dinner together, have conversations, expand on every opportunity to develop language. You know, our students are early readers. They pass Target and they know it's Target. They pass McDonald's and they say that's McDonald's. Those are all good signs of our growing readers. So take time to label items in your house, explore sounds and rhythms and rhymes and chants, promote game taking, simple games, where you promote winning and losing and turn taking. And I know in this kind of climate, it's really hard to limit screen time due to where we are in this virtual learning, but they need to play every day. They need to be outside. They need to get dirty. They need to just experience the world around them and the amazing thing that's happening in their environment, and try to limit screen time. I can't tell you how important that is, especially for our younger kids. You know, our eye is not really fully developed to the age of 7. So when you introduce a child to screen time and they're sitting really close to that screen, you kind of have to worry about what is that doing to our vision. That's just a little side note, but really important for them to get out and play, to develop those appropriate turn taking and social skills, and enjoy them, because it's really a quick time in their life. So your teachers are available for questions you might have. You know, I'm always available, Ms. Responte, you know, so really take advantage of the people around you for support, because they didn't come with little instruction manuals or little white tags that you can't pull off. So, you know, you need all the help you can get, and it does take a village. So enjoy them, and don't worry, let their natural progression take its course. Next slide. I'd like to introduce Michelle Tiedemann. She's our Director of Student and Support Services, which is AKA Special Education. So Michelle, would you like to speak a little bit about?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I do see on my screen, I don't know if it's the same on yours, but my name is coming up as Tara Responte. There are not two of us. Ms. Responte is the principal of Bayview. I am Michelle Tiedemann, District Director of Special Education. So our office oversees special education and related services for students with disabilities who may have either an IEP or a 504. We have a continuum of support services for students. We have specially designed instruction, speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and many other services. Each school has at least one case manager for special education and an SBSS for 504 assistance. We have many resources dedicated to assisting students and families, so please do not hesitate to reach out to your child's school or to the Office of Special Education if you need any assistance, if your child has an IEP, or if you have any concerns about your child's development.
Thank you, Michelle. We will get to our next slide, which is the food service program. Jessica Ritz from Whitson's, you're on.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I'm also taking notes because I have a kindergartner starting in September, so I was paying close attention to everybody. But I'm here to talk about the lunch program, breakfast and lunch. So as you can see, we serve lunch at all of our elementary schools. Breakfast is served at Bayview, Harmony, Leonardo, New Monmouth, and Ocean Avenue. Breakfast includes hot and cold options. Lunch is the same. Come September, when the free and reduced meal applications are active again, those are available online in the food service section. During the regular school day, when we have our hot lunch available, there's always 2 daily hot specials for the kids to pick from. There's 2 weekly cold specials. And then every day there's always the backup of a bagel lunch, cereal, muffin, and then there's always hot and cold vegetables and fruit and juice. So just as an example, some of the items we have whenever there's chicken on the menu, it's always a white meat, whole muscle chicken. All the deli sandwiches are Boar's Head brand. We'll have burgers and pizza. And then the vegetables are either fresh or frozen. And then we always have fresh fruit. And then there's the option of juice as well. And just so you know, when the kids, when they're coming for their meal, for it to be a complete meal, they have to take a fruit or a vegetable or a juice, and that completes the meal. So we always try to, ingrain that in them as they're coming up, like take a fruit, take your juice, take a veggie. And there's a variety, so hopefully they'll find something they like. Our menus are always on the food service section of the website. And then the menus are also interactive. So if you have a child with allergies or you need to know nutrition information, that's available from the menu as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Okay, our next slide, I believe, also shows where my school box is. So Chris, you could just show that one.
Yep, and that's just to prepay to load money onto your student's account. They can always bring cash or a check into the cafeteria, but this is an easy way to just, you can see what they've been buying, and then you can put the money on there as well.
Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome.
Okay, Karen Nolan and Catherine Callahan, I will talk to you about school health services.
Hi, I'm Karen Nolan, and Kathy is on the slide also. We're going to talk to you tonight like COVID-19 isn't existing next year. So we're all going to hope that that's the way it's going to be. If there needs to be adjustments to any of the things we're talking to you about now, we'll notify you prior to the start of school. Kathy?
Welcome, everybody, and congratulations on this new next exciting step in your child's life. We're here to help with any questions you might have, and nurses in general are available all the time throughout your child's career in Middletown. As things might change or differ in their medical history, please reach out to us. We have the next slide. So as they discussed earlier, one of the major requirements for registration and for a child to enter care are the immunization requirements. We need their immunization record, which hopefully should be up to date by the pediatrician in order to register. And it's something that we will need and let you know when it needs to be updated throughout their career in the school district. They also need a physical exam within the last year, again, to start registration. And those are things we will keep for you that is always available. If you needed a copy of your child's immunizations as they get older, that is something the district will always have for you. Next slide. Medications in school can only be given through a doctor's order. If a child has a medical condition like a food allergy, asthma, or a seizure disorder, and they need daily medication or PRN medication as needed, we would need a doctor's order for that. We also do have the availability to give some over-the-counter medication, like Tylenol, ibuprofen, Benadryl, or Tums with parental consent. These forms should be able either be in the orientation packet online, or they're available online through the different schools. Again, if you have any concerns about medications, please reach your nurse. All medications at this age are given by the school nurse. Children aren't allowed to carry medication. Emergency medications would be held for them at school. Again, if there's any questions, you can ask them individually of your school nurse. Next slide. And again, as Ms. Nolan stated, these are guidelines, are regular operating guidelines. If we have different ones, again, due to COVID, they would be, articulated through the principals, through school websites, and notifications that are available at the district website. So our usual guidelines are that a fever of 100.4 or higher, the child should stay home or would need to leave school and stay home until they didn't have fever for 24 hours without fever-reducing medication. An undiagnosed rash, meaning a new rash that developed, something that's not explained by a child's history of eczema or dry skin. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something new that needs to be examined by a doctor. Again, vomiting or diarrhea. These are also signs that we ask if your child experiences them before coming to school. They shouldn't come until they're without vomiting or diarrhea for 24 hours. The same thing, if your child experienced these things during the school day, they would need to be picked up and not be able to return school until they were no longer having these for 24 hours. Again, a new eye issue, drainage from the eye, a very red eye with discharge. That is a child who should not come to school or would need to go home until we knew what it was. If there was a doctor's note, they were on eye drop medication, then they would be able to return. Again, symptoms that were so a child was experiencing so much that it was disrupting their school day, a severe cough, extremely child falling asleep in school, a very sore throat, unable to swallow. A child should probably stay home until they see a doctor, or they might need to go home until they get some help with that. And again, as I explained before, the student can return once they're without vomiting or diarrhea for 24 hours and fever-free, again, without the use of fever-reducing medication. Again, any questions, the nurses are always available to answer. If a child's experiencing some symptoms and you're not sure to send them, please reach out to your school nurse. We love to get those types of questions. Those are the easy ones.
Right. Email is always a great way to contact one of us too. Everybody has an email and we're all very good at answering that.
Yeah. Next slide. Doctor's notes. There are a few situations where, again, as we talked about certain illnesses, we would need a note clearing them to return to school for undiagnosed rashes, gym excuses. Child would need to sit out gym, especially at the upper grades, for a certain period of time due to an illness or a medical condition. And certainly a child returning after an injury that would need to be on crutches. In particular, we need a doctor's note saying they can return to school. Maybe they need crutches, maybe they need a boat, if they need a certain device, or they need to use the elevator in the older grades, we would need a doctor's note letting us know what it is they need to use to be in school and for the length of time they would need that. Again, any questions, just reach out. Nobody expects you to memorize all this right now.
There's a test at the end.
Next slide.
These are routine screenings that we perform in school. Everybody has their heightened, that once a year, everybody has their heightened weight checked once a year. Blood pressure, vision, hearing are done at different years based on their age. And then scoliosis screening is done starting at age 10 every other year from age 10 until they graduate. Next. Food allergies, as I talked about earlier, we would need medical documentation from your doctor, food allergy action plan stating what your child's allergy is, especially if they have a life-threatening allergy that requires emergency medication like an EpiPen and or Benadryl. We would then know that that child has that, so everybody would be aware, and we have different schools have different policies in place how to keep your child safe during certain events like school celebrations, lunch, things like that, that they are able to make sure that everybody is safe. Which is why a lot of times they recommend not sending in food items because that can be very tricky in classrooms that need to be peanut free. Next slide. As Sue Calabro said, the Power School is a great way to update your emergency contact information, which is very important all the time with young children, but certainly these days, so we're able to get in touch with you without, email is easy way, phone, just so that we have that information so there's no loss of communication. And again, the school does ask to be notified if a child is going to be absent. Please call the health office, or I do know they will be calling you to make sure everything's okay. Next slide. We also have a lot of other services or a few additional services that hopefully will be back in full throttle next year. There's a backpack program which is available for certain students who need assistance with meals on the weekends. We do a lot through Middletown Helps Its Own and some other organizations we have providing certain populations with extra help on the holidays, food baskets, other things like providing gifts maybe if needed, and other things like bringing in Lions to help with vision screening and other wellness programs that we try to provide throughout the school year.
We also like to provide some community wellness programs, like when able to, before COVID, like community blood drives and health fairs too, so the community can participate in some of those activities also.
Is that it?
Thank you, Catherine and Kara.
Okay, so over the years, Tara and I have been doing this. These are some questions that come up a lot. So we thought we would just address them now to begin with. And then if you have any questions, again, we will answer them at the end. So don't think that your question might be important because someone else might be thinking it. So our kinders do get report cards, but they're not your traditional report card. In fact, over that past, it's probably taken 10 years, Middletown embarked on really implementing a standards-based report card for all K-5 learners. And the standards-based report card really gives parents more information about specific content and indicators under each area in that content. So it's based on a rubric. It's based on a trimester. We have trimesters, trimesters. So your students are given a number or a 1, 2, 3 or an E based on their level of acquisition of that skill. There's lots of information on the district website regarding the standard-based report card. There is a rubric for every indicator, every standard listed on that. So it really aligns with the New Jersey Learning Standards. What is your child expected to know by the end of the year? So it's really a work in progress, a year-long work in progress. What does my child need to know by the end of this school year? So that kindergarten report card and all the other ones are listed under parent resources. It says elementary school report card, and it really explains why we moved to that, why we moved to trimesters. Each trimester gives us a longer period of time to assess your child in terms of their growth and development. And it really gives you more specific idea of where they're at or where they might need help. Tara, do you want to talk about the screenings or?
Sure, yeah. Next, I know a lot of parents have questions about the EasyK screenings. And what that is, at this point, we typically schedule testing in May or June. And this just gives us baseline data to help teachers get to know your child. And if you do hear about the EasyK screening, it's very simple. We will send out more information closer to the spring about it as we move forward. But you will be able to then sign up and you will be able to bring, we'll see how this year goes, but typically you would be able to come with your child to get tested one-to-one with one of the teachers. So if you do hear about Easy K, that's what that's all about. A lot of parents have questions about security drills. We don't necessarily reach out to the public and say exactly what drill we are doing each month. However, there are 2 security drills per month, and not to worry, the teachers and the schools will definitely get your children ready for these drills. They're not going to be scared when they enter kindergarten. We will walk them through, remind them what to do when there is a drill, and it'll just become a regular part of their school routine. And as far as Power School goes, I know Sue did a great job at telling you everything that you need to do. We cannot stress enough to update your email and phone numbers. It is our main way to communicate with you. And something just to note, you cannot do this on your cell phone. You definitely have to do this on a device. I know that's trouble with some people. So as you change things, please know that. Yes, we do celebrate birthdays, but each school does something different for birthdays, and we do not have kids bring in food for birthdays. And as the school nurses explained, that is our reasoning why. Let's see, what else? Go ahead. Cindy.
So, we have 11 elementary schools and they're all a little different. Though the curriculum is the same and our expectations are the same, the schools have their own little personality. So their way of doing arrival and dismissal might look a little different at each school. Some schools have multiple buses, some schools have 1 or 2 buses. So what's being done at one school is not necessarily the same procedure at other schools. So it's hard for us to talk about what your arrival and procedures will look like at your school. However, know that at some point between now and your child's first day of school, there will be some level of orientation for them where they will hopefully get into the building. So that may not happen until very early fall before school starts. So there will be an opportunity at some point, fingers crossed, that you are able to bring your child into the school building, learn a little bit more about that specific school, meet that principal, possibly tour the building and hear a little bit of what that expectations are. We do try to have some level of consistency on the major facets of our elementary programs, but they're as unique as their little neighborhoods that they come from. So our safety is our #1 priority. So all of our arrivals and dismissal are based on what's safest for children first. So, we do have a 30-minute lunch period for all of our students, and our kinders get a little snack break. We kind of suggest a dry working snack, so it's not too complicated, and it can be, something they can have just to fill their tummies. They do get recess every day, and in addition to their integrated play centers indoors. And again, the district website is a wealth of information. Each school has their own website that you can get through from the district website. Lots of information is pushed out. And again, that communication piece, that school messenger, if we have your email and your phone number, you're going to hear from us, whether you want to or not, but we need to find you. Also, some schools set up remind systems. And I do want to mention that there are very active PTAs in each of the buildings. So it's important to be involved. I have to tell you, your child's success really is depending on how involved you are too as a parent. So, join the PTA, be active, know what's going on, and keep those lines of communication open. We respect that you're your child's first teacher, and we appreciate that. So anything you can share with us to help them. In addition, what we forgot to mention, in each building, there are counselors that are in the buildings if needed. So there are supports within the building that can assist your child and assist you with whatever area you need, social emotional development, academic, and in the like. So we're here to support you and your child, and does anyone have any questions? We can go to that slide, Mr. Rotolo. Mr. Rotolo will field the questions and one of us will jump on and answer them.
Sorry about that. My mic was not working for a second, but okay, we have quite a few hands that have gone up and we will go in order. We'll start with Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Okay, Stephen, just have to unmute your microphone.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, I think I accidentally hit the button, so I don't have a question. But thank you all for a very informative presentation.
Thank you,
Good.
Stephen.
Okay. So next we have, looks like we have Ram. Well, excuse me. Just have to unmute your microphone. Looks like they may be having some technical difficulties with that, so we'll keep them in the queue, but we'll just we will move on to our next participant. Second. Hello.
Hello? Yes. So given that the vaccine hasn't been approved for under the age of 16, what's the likelihood that this fall we'll be back at 5 days, even if it's partial?
Magic, magic, magic ball. I don't know. We're working on it. We really do want what's best for kids and to keep them safe. So I wish I had an answer. And if anyone in, maybe there's some admin on this call that could answer for us. We're hopeful. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Kids need to be in school. So just, we know as much as you do on that front. If anyone has a better answer for this beautiful family, please help me out here. But
a lot of the things that were put in place and that we are doing with the students right now are based on the guidelines from the Department of Health. They're based on the numbers, they're based on what was safe with distancing and different things, and smaller size was one of the recommendations. So we're hoping, we're hoping, we're ready, we are more than ready to flip back to the way things were, but we're constantly working with the Department of Health and the local health departments with the latest information and implementing what we need to. So we won't know until we know is the idea, but we are all fingers crossed and ready to do it. Again, the crystal ball, we can't say either way right now, but we're hoping and we're ready to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Suzanne.
Hi, how are you? My question is for Susan. With our IEP, if I know you said when we register, we have to say whether or not we have the IEP or upload. We're still having testing done after the registration period. So does our school share that with you?
Yes, they can share that with us. And if they are a school that shares the same like database with us, they can also just upload it directly to us during the registration process or afterwards. If you want to indicate on there or send us any documentation in that supplemental document upload, you can do that. And then we will reach out to you, or student services, Michelle Tiedemann's department will reach out to you. But that
Okay.
it's definitely helpful if you can upload it and tell us ahead of time.
Okay, because we're at Harmony pre-K, so I figured obviously we'll upload our IEP, but we have the neurologist testing at the end of February. So I figure all those results will come from Harmony to you.
yeah, and you're in district, so wherever your child goes off to kindergarten, that information will go with them.
Right.
So We will
Awesome.
receive all of those, yes.
And when you're going through the registration process, it will ask you if you're a current in-district student for pre-K. And then once that happens, you're automatically in our system already. So everything, like Mrs. Wilson said, just flows with the student.
Excellent. And that was leading to my next question, is that we are actual Harmony students, but we are with Mrs. Wilson over at Ocean for virtual. So do we have to indicate what school we're at? And if so, would I indicate Harmony or Ocean?
You should indicate your resident school, which would be Harmony.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next we have Christine.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for the presentation. My question is around the registration. So requirements was a physical exam after July of 2020, but my son turns 5 in March and I'll be having his physical exam then. So how do I handle that during the registration process?
You should upload during the registration process the latest physical exam that you have. If it is,
okay.
If it's not within the scheduled time, once the registration gets approved and goes over to our nurses, the school nurse will reach out to you for updated documentation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Hi, thank you so much for tonight. I just have a really quick question for you about the immunization records and the physical forms. So are they general? Is there a link for them on the Middletown website, or do you want them directly from just whatever we have from the doctor?
Yeah, the doctor's office is fine, whatever physical form they use. There's also one available on the district website if you choose to use it. But the doctors all have printouts and things like that. That's acceptable also.
Okay, perfect. So we would just need all of those documents, and especially with the proof of residence, we would scan them and have them ready on our computer so that when registration opens on Monday, we're just able to upload all of those documents then.
Yes, there's at the end of the process after your registration, there's a secure document link, and it actually will spell it out for you: residency documents, medical documents, and you upload them one right after the other.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Next we have Jeffrey.
Hi, just curious, and maybe you answered this already. Is there a way to get access to the presentation that you went over today?
Yes, we are recording it right now and it will be placed on our district website.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Is anybody else hearing them? I'm not hearing.
James, did you unmute?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I had my computer muted too. Thank you very much for tonight. My question also was about the physicals. So my doctor's office said that we had to drop off a form for them to fill out, which you said is available on the website, but I haven't been able to find it, and I've looked pretty extensively. Can you direct me to the forms page or something?
I believe it was on the registration page, but I will confirm that, and we'll try to get that out to you as soon as possible. If you could email the registrar,
Sure.
which is on our registration page, and just ask her to send it over to you, we'll be more than happy to do it.
Okay, thanks so much, and thanks again for tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Amy.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. So just a couple questions. Are the documents that we upload, do they all need to be PDFs? Can they be pictures? Unfortunately, being home, I don't have access to scanners as I normally would.
No, they don't have to be PDFs. They could be they can be a picture, anything that you want.
Okay, great.
It allows any type of document to be uploaded.
Oh,
and
super.
If for some reason, we can't read it or it's not legible, we'll reach out to you.
Oh, super, great, thank you. And some of them, like the proof of residency that, for example, one was, say, insurance. Do you need multiple pages, just a page showing the address?
Right, we just need the cover page showing the address and a current date within the past month.
Okay, all right, that's perfect. Thank you. And then can we create our account ahead of time, or should I wait till Monday?
No, you have to wait until Monday.
Okay.
Because that link is not open yet. If you went on now to create an account, it would be for the current year registration.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you so much. And then at what point is that student ID assigned? You mentioned that would be in the portal, and then we would use that for the buses.
Right. The student ID is assigned once the registration is approved and pushed through to our student information system, which is on what we call our live side. Once that happens, that's when the ID gets issued. But that is a good question because it brings up the parent portal letter. In the summer, usually around the beginning of August, we send out a parent portal letter with all of your login information to create an account on the parent portal. Within that letter is also your student ID number. So you'll get it at that point.
Oh, in the summertime. So when do you sign? So I wouldn't sign up for the bus this spring.
You don't have to sign up for the bus. You're automatically assigned a bus if applicable.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
I have a question. I held my son back last year, well, this year, but he was fully registered for kindergarten in September. Do I still need to resubmit the documents minus the immunization form? And he also has 2 other siblings in the school.
If you didn't proceed through with the registration and he did not attend school at all, after you registered him, you will have to re-register.
Okay, thank you.
You can go on and use the same username and password if you have it. If you don't, you can hit that you forgot it. But if you did not attend, those records are discarded. You'll have to start over.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello. My question was about the before and after care. Is that done in each individual school, or is it like a central location that it's done at?
Yes, it's done in each individual school.
Okay. And is busing provided for that, or that's just drop off?
No, you would have to drop off and pick up.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much for doing this. I have one question, but the question someone else asked spurred one for me. So I did the wrong thing and already signed up for a Power School account, thinking that I'd be all set for Monday. So should I then create a different account on Monday? Have I now tied it to perhaps the previous year's registration?
Yeah, so what I would suggest you do is go back on and go to our district website and email the registrar and just inform the registrar that you registered for the wrong year. Most likely she will catch it and she'll reach out to you anyway. But if you would just like to confirm it with her and just send her an email and tell her, and then you'll have to go back on Monday. You can use the same login information, but you're going to have to go onto a different link. You need the 21-22 school year.
Right. Yeah, I didn't go through and register, and I just created the account. Should I still reach out to the registrar in that case?
Oh, so you didn't go through the whole registration?
I did not go through the whole registration. I created the account and created something for my child, but didn't go through and register him.
Okay, then you should be okay. So when you go back on Monday, you should make sure you select the 21-22 school year.
Perfect. Okay, great. And then just very quickly, as I'm sure coming to the end of time, I have a cutoff kid, basically. You know, he turns 5. Well, anyway, my child is essentially he's doing a kindergarten year at his daycare. You know, I guess it's effectively like a private kindergarten. So we were just planning on putting him in the regular kindergarten school year. I don't think socially he'd be ready to move up, but anyway, his teacher recommended that we ask about if you guys usually put someone forward, I guess, to first grade if they've already completed a kindergarten year, or that seemed to me like they have to be 5. They have to be 5 by a certain date, so that's not even something you do, but they recommended that we ask.
So I can answer that question for you. We would bring them into our kindergarten, and we have 2 weeks of an assessment period to determine. When did you say his birthday was? Just curious.
No, the first week of November.
Oh, he absolutely does not meet our cutoff date. Our cutoff date is October.
Right.
So kindergartner, he would be placed.
Got it. So there wouldn't even be a situation where it's like, oh, he already did kindergarten, so we'd move him up.
You know what? I'm just going to go off course a little bit. In my experience, and I have 35 years plus, by putting him in kindergarten where he is with his peers, you will be giving him the benefit, a really great benefit of being the oldest in his class as being absolutely the youngest, really at a disadvantage. So I would keep the course, stay the course.
I
and
totally
I
agree
want
with
to
that.
tell you, our kindergartens are pretty rigorous. And so I think it's great that he had an extra gift of time of a year.
Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So we just moved to New Jersey, and I want to register my daughter for kindergarten. I'm just unsure which school we're zoned for or how it exactly works.
Okay, I can answer that for you. So when you go on to register, you're going to enter all of your demographic information. If the demographic information matches an address that's in our school locator system, it will come up and it will tell you what school you are going to. If you want to know ahead of time before Monday, you can always email our registrar and we'll be more than happy to with it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I just had a few quick questions about the before and after care. And you may have answered these, so forgive me if you did. How much is the before care?
Now you're talking out of our league. So that is information you might find on our district website now under the Y. So you can be a little nosy and poke around there. I don't know that information. Does anyone know what they charge?
I don't
I'm
know
sorry.
off the top of my head, Cindy, either. I'm sorry. I would definitely check the district website, and you could always reach out. The Y is fabulous. You could always call the Y and find out that information as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say email them because I believe there's an email listed, probably best resource.
Okay, so it's people from the Y that come to each school and do the before and after care?
Yes, it's a total separate entity. It's
Okay.
just a service we provide.
Okay. And also, is before care available if you guys are hybrid?
It's available on the days that your child would be coming to the school.
Okay. And here's also just a question that doesn't have to do with kindergarten, but I have a son who's going into the pre-K. Is it available for pre-K students too?
It is not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for doing this. I have a question about twins. I have my twins starting in September, I believe, at River Plaza. And I was just wondering, is it up to the parents or the school if twins remain together or separate?
So the parents of twins can absolutely make that decision. And we would respect whatever decision you make.
Okay.
After several years of being in the school and your child's now in 3rd grade and you're asking us that, and we might have more information for you, we may recommend that it might be in their best interest, depending on who your kids are and how they depend on each other, or, at that point, but parents always have that say.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, good evening. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sure these are going to be ignorant questions, but I'm a first timer here. So 2 quick questions, both involving the registration. The first, I think it's been asked before, so I apologize, but this physical, I have a similar situation. My son turns 5 in May, so he's not due to get one until after. So if I go on Monday to upload his most recent registration, or I'm sorry, most recent physical from when he was 4, is that going to hold up the registration process, or is it just the registrar reaches out and says, hey, after May, you swap out and give us the most recent records? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it will not hold up the registration process. It'll go through, and as I said previously, if it's not a valid date, the registrar will reach out to you, or the school nurse will reach out to you.
Okay, and then follow up to that is also, assuming that's the only piece that needs an update, do you just automatically, once you submit the registration, does that mean you're quote unquote approved? Or when do you find out what school or district you've been assigned to and you're confirmed as registered?
You will get a school assignment when you register at that time based on your address. It will tell you, the school locator service will tell you based on your address what school you are going to attend.
Okay, I guess I just got confused. There was a comment at the beginning of the presentation where you recommended, or someone recommended, registering early because classes do max out. So I don't know if that, and obviously I want to do this Monday, but I don't know what that means. If you get a flooding of people registering on Monday, is there a chance then your child is assigned to a different district?
Right. My recommendation is that you register as soon as you possibly can. I mean, our class sizes normally don't fill up to capacity, but it does happen on some occasions, and we would never want a parent to be in that situation. So,
okay.
I can confidently say if you're ready to go on Monday and you have all of your documentation and everything is in line, you shouldn't have any problems.
Okay, thank you.
Are you there, Adriana?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Hi, my name is Adriana. I'm actually a kindergarten teacher in West Orange. So it's just crazy to me that my own son will be starting. It's a little sad, as some of you know, as parents with first-time kindergartners. But a lot of emotions here, but all good stuff. Just a quick question. What is your class max?
25.
25.
Okay. We'd like to keep the numbers around the 22 area, but there have been situations where they go up to 25.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Also, you said they get integrated playtime. Is that similar to like play centers every day?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's awesome. Unfortunately, my district doesn't do that every day. I wish they did, because I know the importance of play for little ones especially. And for indoor recess, do you guys do something like in the gymnasium, or how does that work?
That depends on each school, but usually for indoor recess, they would stay in the classrooms, and there's definitely a lot of fun activities for them to do on rainy day. But then again, that just depends on space in the school.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
How?
Good. So my question was asked, it was regarding the twins as well. But I do have an advice question. My kid's annual visit is February 2nd. Does it make sense just to wait and get that updated paperwork to register with, or should I use it from last year?
I would register them. Tatum, hi Tatum.
Hi.
I would go ahead and register them, and then you can submit that documentation when you get it. Isn't that correct, Sue?
Yeah, my recommendation is, again, aligned with Cindy's. You know, register as early as possible if you have all your documentation. If the vaccinations are outdated, you can always come back and upload it again, or you can send it directly to the registrar or the school nurse. The school nurses are always happy to take any kind of current documentation, believe me.
Okay.
So
Okay,
basically,
perfect.
your registration is kind of put on hold until we have a completed file.
Okay, but at least it's there, so you have a holding spot.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. It has to do, I guess, with registration. If they're in the preschool program and already registered and all the documents are uploaded, do you still have to upload them or just update the health stuff?
No, you have to actually go through. When did you register?
She registered well, she's in her second year of the preschool program.
Right. So since it's the second year, we weren't doing uploaded registration back then for pre-K. We did start it last March due to COVID. So we would ask that you go back online and re-register at that time. Our system will recognize that your child is an existing student, and we will do the match, but we still need all of the documentation to be uploaded because there are different immunizations that are required for kindergarten also.
But I was referring to like the birth certificate and residency and all that stuff.
Yeah, you should still, it is required for kindergarten.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a good question, because a lot of pre-K parents assume if their child's in the system that they just roll over, but they do need to re-register them.
Right, they need to be re-registered. And we do send out a letter to the existing pre-K parents telling them that they have to go on and register.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello. My question is also about twins. I will most likely be putting them in different classes next year. So I was just wondering, are there opportunities for them to see each other throughout the day besides, I'm imagining, recess, but like lunch, or do they sit with their own classes or any other times? Just curious.
Well, I would say that also depends on the school, because some of our kinders eat lunch in the classroom and some kids eat lunch in the all-purpose rooms. I would definitely say yes for recess. Most likely the kinders go out at the same time to play. Cindy, can you think of any other times when they would be together?
Really not so much, because they have schedules that they follow, but recess is your best bet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they'll be going to New Monmouth, so I don't know. Do they have a cafeteria there?
It depends. They do, but it depends on your schedule and how many, if they put the kinders in the all-purpose room. I particularly have our kinders in our classrooms just because it's a little more contained for them initially, but it's done very differently. So I can't speak on behalf of Mr. Ferry, but
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing this. I just had a quick question regarding a parent who has to re-register their pre-K student for kindergarten. Does the student ID for kindergarten change for that child, or does it stay the same?
No, it stays the same.
Okay.
Yeah, the system will recognize that the student is an existing student and everything stays the same.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, thank you again. I'm one of the people that logged on late, so I did miss the presentation. I think, Ms. Wilson, you were about to address it. I have a son. He is not currently in the school system. He is on the cusp. He's mid-September birthday. So we were kind of like, should we put him in kindergarten, especially with the potential of virtual or not? So we were kind of unsure what to do. My concern is if we don't put him into kindergarten this year and we keep him out to do another year of pre-K or private kindergarten, can we either put him in pre-K in the school district? Our school that I know we're registered for did offer pre-K this year. Would he automatically be pushed into kindergarten? If we did try and register him for pre-K, what would be our situation there?
So I'm going to say this, that if your child is of kindergarten age and you come to register him, they would want to put him right into kindergarten and not open the preschool for him or her. So if that's a decision that you make on your own, then what you do with for this year would be up to you.
Okay, and then just the follow-up question to that, if we decide to hold him back, and we do, if you could like just continue the answer that you were about to give the other woman that asked, if we came back next year and said, okay, now we're going to go into kindergarten, can you finish where you were going with that to see, would he be in kindergarten or would he then be pushed to first grade because he technically?
No, if you enroll him as a kindergartner, we would keep him there.
Okay.
Her question was if she came from another school and he had done a kindergarten program.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You know what? Talk to his preschool, gather as much information as you can.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I just had two quick questions. We live in a part of town where we technically have three. Hello?
You were here.
Oh,
We
sorry,
hear
it said it muted again. We have three elementary schools relatively very close to our house, but if you stand in the driveway, you can actually see Harmony. So would we automatically get put into Harmony, or is there a chance that he might be auto-slotted into one of the other two?
So as I explained before, when you go on to do your registration, you'll have to put in your demographics. And when in your demographics, our school locator system, which is based on our busing system, will designate what elementary school you are assigned to.
Where do your neighbors go?
Hi. So most likely he would end up in Harmony then, since it's the closest one.
Do your neighbors go to Harmony?
Our next door neighbors do, yes.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, most likely you'll go to Harmony. I mean, we do have, believe it or not, there are instances where we have one house going to one school and one house going to another. That's not a regular, consistent thing. So yeah, most likely it'll be Harmony. And like I said, during the registration process, you'll find out right away when you go on to register.
Okay. And then my other question was, we decided to not enroll him in pre-K this year. Is there anything that we can do to get him ready that he's not going to be far behind everybody who did go to pre-K?
So readiness is based on just a whole gestalt of the whole child. So I listed things in the beginning that you could do for him. I think lots of experiences, reading to him, a lot, if he has the opportunity to socialize. I know it's kind of difficult in this climate to do those types of things, but I think he's not going to be alone, not coming from preschool, because a lot of people didn't choose to send their children to school this year. So really what we look to do is take a child from where they are and take them where they need to be. So we really identify and we really look to differentiate So really don't worry about that. We will find where he is and take him where he needs to be.
Okay, so there's nothing like expected to be known to him.
No,
Okay.
nope.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I joined late as well. And is the recording for this, where is it going to be?
I believe that we will, we will definitely put it on the district website. I'm sure it'll be just on the main page.
We'll also put it on the registration page.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I think it's already on there, but
I know the link, like the link to join and all was, but I wasn't sure if that's where you were going to post the recording of this meeting at.
We'll probably post it in both places. We'll post it on the registration page and also on the district web page.
Okay.
Chris, do we have any questions left? Because
Looks like we have 4 hands raised after Robert. Oh, looks like Carolyn. So after Carolyn asks her question, looks like we have 4 hands raised, so we can cut it off with those 4.
yeah, I think that, you know, I can't keep my panelists too long, but I think that would be the wise thing to do at this time. But you can always email me if you have more questions. I'm available. So go ahead. Unmute yourself.
There we go. Hello. Hi.
You're there.
So I have a question. My daughter is in preschool program right now through Middletown. So her student number and my parent portal login should also remain the same.
Everything will remain the same. Yes.
Okay.
Even though you're going to re-register her.
Yes.
That will be it'll be seamless on your end. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is her second year, so I didn't do the whole online registration yet.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure I'm using my same portal login, and if I need her student.
It's going to ask you if your child is a pre-existing student, just indicate yes. And then, like I said, our system will recognize and match it up, and also the registrar will get a notification.
Will she be joining her? Will she be returning to Harmony on Monday?
She's actually registered for New Monmouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where her homeschool is, and she technically should be in Fairview, but she's I think through Harmony online, like it's a mess, but but she'll be in New Monmouth hopefully. I think that's our homeschool. But thank you.
Okay.
I see
Hi. Yes, thank you all so much. My question was also for, due to the climate, my daughter has not attended preschool, like a pre-K classroom, any of that. We do things at home. I know you said that you're hoping to get in to see the classroom. My question is there going to be like some time to do that? Because she's nervous as it is about going to school, so am I. But will there be a way to go in so she can see the school and see everything before she's just dropped off on her first day?
We did address, so it is our hope that we would like all of them to get into the building to see it before. So keep your fingers crossed that there will be some type of orientation. What that looks like is, we're not quite sure, but even if it's before school starts in the very early fall, we will try to have the kinders in for an orientation of some kind. We always have had a chance to bring them in. Is Josie with us?
Oh, yes, I am. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for this. This is really helpful. I have a really quick question in regards to registration on the 11th. At what time does that open up?
After I have about 4 cups of coffee. I'm only kidding. As all the other admins know, I probably will be opening at 4 in the morning. No, we use
Yeah.
what?
It's not that critical. Like you don't have to like jump on, right?
Yeah, it's not that critical. I mean, the system, it will probably be open by 7 a.m., I would say.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for your time. Two quick questions. So on Monday, am I also registering my pre-kindergarten or just my kindergarten?
Are you an existing pre-K student?
No, he will be pre-K. I'm going to register for the first time. And she is on pre-K now. So I'm going to register her for kindergarten. And he is only 2.5. Okay. He's going to be 3 and she's going to be 5. So I'm going to be trying to register him for pre-K and her for kindergarten.
Okay, you can do both of the registrations at the same time, yes.
And second, no?
No, the preschool is different, Sue. So the preschool is a lottery system. So that you can't just register for that program.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure when that registration will open up. And typically they do a preschool meeting similar to this meeting. I actually should take a note and look into when we're going to do that. And that
we are planning that. We'll send the information out soon. Like within this week, we'll send it out, and we are hoping to do, like we're doing right now for kindergarten, something similar for pre-K before the end of this month. So we are working on getting that on the schedule.
Oh, okay, great.
But we don't just open enroll pre-K students. It's a lottery-based program.
Okay, so
fill
that's
out
for
an
the
application. Pardon me?
I apologize. I thought I misunderstood what she meant. I'm sorry.
Okay, because I was going to ask if I would be able to upload documentation for both of them at the same time. So
when you go on to do your kindergarten registration, make note of your login information, because if you are eligible to register for pre-K, you will use that same information and the documents will be there, so you won't have to reload everything.
Okay, got you. All right, thank you so much.
We don't know that.
Hi, thanks. It's Suzanne again. I just have one quick question about busing. So are these little guys on the bus with the rest of the school that's being bused in, or are they still, you know, in like a booster seat or anything like that?
So they are on the bus with the regular kindergartners are on the bus with 1st through 5th grade, and no, they are not in a booster seat. There are seatbelts available for all the kids on the buses.
Okay, that was the last hand that we had up.
Well, thank you, all my panelists and parents, for joining us tonight. It was, great spending time with you. This was the first for me to do it virtually, and Tara as well. But hopefully you took something away from this evening. And again, your building principals are available for questions you might have. So feel free to reach out. So it was Happy New Year. Stay safe and be well. And we'll see you in September or sooner.